Oh, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Pop Go the Writers. This is our 18th episode, and we are about to kick off our discussions about. Oh, look at that! Paul was in mid pop, so let me do that for him, since that's what he normally does during the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll notice that Eisner nominated Paul Story over there is having some lag issues. We're hoping that's going to straighten itself out as the episode goes along. But we are going to start our discussion about the new Disney Plus series, Marvel's Loki. And as it is a now beloved tradition here on Pop Go the Writers, we are welcoming back Jim Beard as we start a new series. Mr. Beard, good to see you.
Same here. Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
No, thank you. So as we get started here, what have you been up to, sir? Don't you have a new pulp book out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going to say, actually, tonight we should call this Pulp Goes the Writers. Yeah. In fact, I debuted the new Pulp book at a show earlier today in Westlake, Ohio, which is basically Cleveland, at the Pulp Fiction Convention. My book is called Occupied Pulp, and it is 6 stories of action, adventure, and intrigue set during the Allied occupation after World War II. Stories that take place in Europe and in Japan.
Very nice. Who's publishing that? Is that self-published, or is that?
That is my own Flinch Books. That is our 10th book. Me and my publishing partner, John Bruning of Cleveland, are just over the moon for it, and we've already started to get some good reviews, and it was the big seller today at our table, so it was a good day.
Excellent. I don't know what your schedule is, and I probably should have asked you this off the air, but I don't know if you know I do the Dan Wickline show now during the week on the Comic Shopping Experience.
Okay.
I do it Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific, which is 5 p.m. Eastern, and then Thursday is at 6. Would like to invite you on the show to talk about the books, and we can hype it to the audience there.
I would love to do that.
Okay.
That would be fantastic. I have a brand new Green Hornet, an official Green Hornet novella coming out in August.
Is that through Moonstone?
Yes, and right now it can be ordered through Diamond or through your comic shops. And I urge everybody, if you're interested, put an order in now with your comic shop, so they can get their orders in on that, and that's very helpful. It will go up at some point for pre-order on the Moonstone site, but
Right.
As of right now, you can order it through your local comic shop, and honestly, it helps support your local comic shop by doing it that way. Also, it was just in this latest previews, and it's called Green Hornet: How Sweet the Sting.
Nice.
By me.
Now, are Joe Gentile and was it William Scott Everett? Is it William Scott? Are they still the editors on those?
Yes, yeah. From what I understand, Wynn actually helped write the Bible that we writers are using, and help put together the timeline. This is based on the 60s TV series, the Van Johnson Bruce Lee TV series, and Moonstone has put together just a really incredible timeline that fits together all of the episodes of the TV show plus the fiction, all the short stories that they've put out over the years too, and fits it into a nice timeline throughout the 1960s. And my story is actually set right at the same time as one of the TV episodes. In fact, it actually kind of crosses over with one of the TV episodes.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've got to do some work in the past with Moonstone, including a couple Green Hornet stories, and I love their professionalism and just their dedication to the characters, whether it's Green Hornet or
Yes.
the original The Avenger, or the Phantom was another one I got to write for them. They do such a really good job over at
And
Moonstone.
Kolchak.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe is very adamant about the characters and that they are as true as possible, especially Kolchak and the Green Hornet, to their TV incarnations. And we've had some fantastic discussions about that. And he got me just this gorgeous cover. I urge everybody, just look online for the cover alone, and hopefully that will sell the book.
Very nice, very nice. Mr.
I
Story seems to be back.
Yes, I am. I once joked with Michael Kaluta because he did a cover for one of the Green Hornet collections that I was in. I said, I hope you know, Mike, I'm now going to tell everybody we've worked together.
And he said, who are you?
We've known each other for years.
Paul, I noticed that all you had to do was take off Eisner nominated off of your name, and you seem to be okay right now, which proves my point. That was weighing you down.
It was hubris. Hubris was my downfall.
Oh, that hubris will get you every time, buddy.
Yep.
Hey, Mr. Story, why don't you tell us exactly what that Eisner nomination was for?
Well, it was not for me individually. It was for the team who did John Carpenter Presents Storm Kids Stanley's Ghost. Stanley and Friends is a set of anthropomorphic animal characters created by Jeff Balke. And I worked with Jeff to write a Stanley and Friends spooky horror story because Sandy King Carpenter thought that would be a great intro to horror. You know, that spooky tales for kids is an important way to, you know, bring in new horror fans.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then we had Dave Alvarez did the artwork. Jeff is an exceptional color, and Janice Chang is a wonderful letterer, and Sandy was our editor, and it came together, and I was still stunned. It just, like, somebody congratulated me, and I went, for what? Because I only had 2 books come out last year, and you know, you think of Eisner noms as going to people who are doing long runs or you know, did a graphic novel or something. Mm-hmm. This is just a 32-page story. So yeah, we're
I love it.
We're all very. But is it possible to be proud and humbled? Because I think we are all like pretty much along that way.
Well, sure. Yeah. Plus, I think this would be neat to get in a way get John Carpenter a Eisner Award. So I think everybody should vote for this book.
Yeah, I love the idea because Casper the Friendly Ghost was my gateway drug to horror.
Yeah. Sabrina and the Groovy Ghoulies on the
the Groovy Ghoulies,
show.
Love it.
And this is one that everybody's going to go like, no, that's not right. The Monster Squad, starring Fred Grandy.
Yes.
Which was very different from the Monster Squad written by Fred Decker and Shane Black. But,
okay, before we get into Loki, which will be our main topic for tonight, I just wanted to correct something that Paul said on my Facebook page. I am not unhappy about the Bad Batch.
Okay.
I think that
I didn't say you were unhappy.
You said I would be happier.
Yes. And am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I'll give you that. Okay. But I have to say that the last few episodes of the Bad Batch have gotten really good. I just watched the most recent one. I've had just the last 2 weeks have been insane with nothing to do with writing in comics. Between coming down with pneumonia myself and then my best friend being in a head-on car accident. So I spent this weekend up in Victorville helping her get around and getting to her daughter's graduation. And then, so it's been, so I got to sit down this afternoon and watch the newest Bad Batch. And while it's the 7th episode, I think they've done 4 really good episodes worth of the Bad Batch. I think there's just a lot of superfluous stuff that could be trimmed out and made it a tighter, more of an event series. But
I was so pleased that they actually, like, they pushed the Wrecker subplot as far as they could. I felt like
hang on. Okay, good.
Oh, sorry. Well, that he started going like, I've got a headache, and we're all
Yeah.
like, it's the chip.
Yeah.
And I just was dreading that it was going to go like several more episodes.
No, that was a major thing for me too, that they finally dealt with that. And I like who they brought in to deal with it. Yeah.
That was a nice touch. I did like that.
I heard about that. I've only watched the first 2 episodes, but somebody told me who just showed up.
Yeah.
And all I could say was, wow, I bet you there's a lot of fans happy about that.
Yep. I'm not a Clone Wars guy. I've seen some of them, but I maybe have watched the first season, and just it's kind of heavy. There's a lot to go through on the Clone Wars, and a lot of it, it's like, I realized that a lot of the Clone Wars was kind of fixing the prequels in the same way that a lot of what Marvel's doing now is fixing Thor: The Dark World.
That's terrible.
But not wrong.
No, I guess. Okay.
Or at least they're making Thor: The Dark World seem much more important than it did.
Okay, that's a good way to put it. I like that. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot to it. I'm not a big fan of Ahsoka Tano in the Clone Wars. I loved her in Mandalorian, and I know that that's the path to get her there. But I think I'm just going to hang out on this side where she's already there and not deal with that part.
I wondered if she was going to show up, because in the final season of Clone Wars, the 2 characters they interacted with last episode were with her. So
that's who I thought it was going to be too. And then when Rex showed up, it's like, all right, I'm good with that.
If they want another, several tens of thousands more viewers, I suppose she'll probably eventually show up in it.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is, you bring in Rex, you don't have to cast anybody else. It's still D. Bradley Baker.
That's true. It's like, they're not...
You can bring as many clones as you want, and you don't have to hire anybody new.
And and if they really want a shock ending or something, they'll bring in more Omega clones, so they can still just use.
Oh, Omega, Jesus. Okay, I think that's enough of a. Go ahead.
I think one more thing though that we should mention before we head into talking about Loki is the sad passing of Sam Colowitz from Captain America 1990, Ned Beatty.
Ned Beatty passed?
Yeah, he passed away today. I'm sorry. You're so plugged in, Dan. I thought you'd know.
I normally am. Yeah. So
I didn't hear that at all. Okay. I've been at a show all day, but
yeah, that was sad news. He was 83, so and
okay.
Yeah, but Ned Beatty Ned Beatty from Superman.
Yeah, right, I was going to say from
and Deliverance, right?
And Deliverance, right?
Yes, but I'm mentioning him because we're talking about a Marvel show.
Yeah, and you're kind of Captain America addict.
Yeah. Well,
what do you mean?
He's gone to that big Addis Ababa in the sky.
Well, that's a shame. Ned Beatty was a really good actor, a character actor, and just enjoyed all his work. So, thank you for bringing that up, Paul. That is a shame. But okay, I can't think of her name. I was just going to announce the one other Marvel news was the reported casting of Titania in the She-Hulk mini series coming up. Is Jamal? She's from The Good Place.
Jamil? Is that correct?
Yeah, something like that. She's from The Good Place.
Yeah.
Is that actually confirmed?
I'm getting her name wrong. So
it's hitting enough for the big sources that it seems like it's confirmed.
Okay.
I think Variety did pick that up, or somebody.
Okay.
So it's kind of considered it's confirmed-ish.
It's Jamil.
Yeah.
I was going to say her 2 names almost sound the same.
That's why I hyper corrected and got the.
Yeah.
Did I hear right? Was she actually considered for She-Hulk herself at one point?
I
I
had
hadn't
not
heard
heard that, but it's
Okay.
It's possible.
It might be that I saw a lot of people saying things like that, but it may have been just that a lot of people would have wanted her as She-Hulk, maybe.
Yeah.
But I thought
Yeah,
it meant that she was actually in the running for it. But
I thought it was really interesting when they were talking She-Hulk and people were trying to go like, oh, well, this actress is tall and fit and whatever, and I'm like, you know that we don't have to do that thing where we bring in
yeah,
a bodybuilder, right?
Right. The
You know,
whole
like,
Lou Ferrigno thing doesn't matter anymore.
right.
And
Yeah,
Mark Ruffalo
I mean-
isn't that big.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he's not. Yeah.
So yeah, it was just so weird. People are like, "Oh, what about this lady is really tall and and I just
Well,
kept going
I know until her
CGI."
her social media issues, everybody was talking about Gina Carano.
Oh,
And
right.
it's like, well, she'd be great for She-Hulk, but would she really be good for Jennifer Walters?
Yeah, are they gonna? Yeah, so they end up reducing her for
Yeah.
Like
Right.
Yeah,
shrinking
like they
her
do the other
down.
the Steve Rogers thing, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So
So-
it was just it's interesting. People are still locked into that mindset.
Yeah.
Um,
And
so
and speaking of which, happy 40th birthday, Chris Evans.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Happy
He's
birthday,
he's
Chris
an
Evans.
old man now.
yes, that's it. I hope I live to be that age.
Yeah. If I could only have looked that good at 40. Wait a minute.
Yep. So
All right. So, Loki. Going into the Loki series, I kind of felt they had three things they needed to deal with or to do in the pilot episode. One, they needed to establish this new corner of the MCU with the TVA and just how time travel really works, not just the quick little explanation that the Ancient One did to the Hulk, but and the weird way they did it in Endgame. Two, I thought they needed to establish enough of whatever the mystery is to make sense why they would need Loki in the first place.
Mhm.
They didn't have to get too deep into it, but they needed to give us enough hooks that we believe, okay, it makes sense that they're actually needing to go 48 hours on this guy. And then the third thing think they needed to do is we had seen such character growth in Loki over Dark World, Ragnarok, and then Avengers Infinity War, that the Loki we had now wasn't the Loki we ended with in Infinity War.
Yeah.
So the one we have, which was the end of Avengers, was not the selfless type of person who would do anything to help anybody other than himself. So they needed to at least make him a little more malleable to actually helping people, which I thought those three things are a huge task to try to pull off in 45 minutes, because that's what, it was a 51-minute episode with 6 minutes of credits. So 45 minutes to do that. Oh, and also give us a little bit of a recap so the people who haven't watched everything know what's going on.
Right.
And I'll be damned if I don't think they did a remarkable job connecting all those dots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like they put him through a pasta maker, basically. Just, or just crank him through a few times. Excellent use of old footage, and new information, or just like Mobius, the Owen Wilson's character. Just hit him. It was like, yeah, we'll do the high points, and it was like, and the ones that he chose, and then the stuff that Loki ended up seeing for himself were just like emotional body blows all the way through. I was very impressed. Although I'm not big on redemption for the people.
I don't think they needed to redeem him. I think they just needed to make him, like I said, malleable. Make him.
Well, yes, I think people were treating the movie progression as a redemption arc, and I'm always, it's sort of the Darth Vader problem to me. Once you've gleefully participated in blowing up an entire planet, is it really redemption, or is it just like an attempt to make some amends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they specifically deal with that where Mobius kept asking him, "Do you enjoy this? Like, look at the glee on your face when you're taking this guy's eye out. Are you enjoying it?" And that was what he was looking for. Was the no, I don't. I needed to do this to keep the illusion going. So, what about you, Jim? What did you think?
In some ways, they had to take all those years of Loki in the movies and compress it into this 45 minutes. We had to get into what we know. We, the audience, knows that is in Loki, but we had to get it quicker, and the easiest way to get there was the thing about I almost said his mother, his stepmother, really. And then kind of compress that, so that we do get that Loki. I got to tell you, this was one of the series I wasn't really looking forward to. I'm not the biggest Thor fan in the world. As a kid, I think I owned one issue of Thor, and I don't dislike the whole Thor mythology. But, by the end of the episode, I was fully on board. It wasn't what I expected. And it was more than that. Hiddleston just did a fantastic job. And I give him a lot of credit because, like you were saying, he kind of had to step back and play a character that he's been far past for a while, and kind of, do a little bit something new with him, but be that earlier Loki that we'd seen. Everybody again did a great job. I just sometimes I sit back from these shows and it's like, how can they keep this up? How can they keep up the writing, the casting, the acting, the directing, the visuals, everything? And they keep doing this over and over and over again. I almost want Marvel Studios to fail, just so we can see that it's possible for them to fail. The other thing that really struck me by the end of the episode was how far we've come. Last night I put on Iron Man 1. I hadn't watched it in a while. And it's amazing because it's almost like a completely different universe. Aliens and time travel and all this other stuff is so commonplace now. But you go way back, and there was none of that. Remember when Tony had PTSD because he saw an opening into another far other space or another dimension, and then a couple movies later, and he's interacting with aliens with no problems. And it's not a criticism; it's just how much that universe has grown. Now.
It's brilliant because what they did was they gave us this very grounded piece of sci-fi. I mean, it was just a hint of sci-fi with the tech, but everything else was very grounded. And then they go, okay, now we're going to do the Hulk, which was a little more sci-fi, a little bit horror. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to do another Iron Man, and then we're going to bring in Norse mythology. All right, we're telling you they're gods, but we're going to explain it as what you call magic, we call science. Right. Or what we call magic, you call science. And then they kept it very grounded. And Avengers, the Avengers with the aliens was when they really started opening it up. But they started with that real grounded feel. And I think they kind of did that here too, by grounding it in such a bureaucracy, and just how it was very normal. Like, we're doing this. This is our job. We're the police. We're just time police, and we're taking you in, and you got to go to this robot, and then you got to go through this scanner. And they just grounded it in such mundane, everyday-looking cube form BS that it's like, okay, no, we can buy that.
Yeah. Well, and and they made Loki. Loki wants to be grandiose. And no matter what the setting, and they knocked him down several pegs. They're like,
Yeah.
oh no, you're mad. It's like your magic doesn't work here. The Tesseract doesn't work here.
Yeah, they knocked down the big bad MacGuffins for the last 23 movies into paperweights.
In one scene.
In one
scene. And Hiddleston just does that scene so perfectly that basically like his whole life is a sham or a lie, just by looking in a drawer in someone's desk.
Yeah.
And the look on his face is just amazing, that like none of what I wanted matters anymore. It's just sitting in this drawer right here. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Nothing matters anymore.
When you open the drawer and realize that you would push aside the Infinity Stones that are worthless at this point to take the Honus Wagner baseball card.
Yeah.
That's more powerful in a way than all the stones in there.
Yeah.
I mean, all of that is just really. Had I not already known that he is well since passed, it would not have surprised me to see Douglas Adams' name in the writing credits.
By the way, did you catch the line from Owen Wilson that was basically a nod to Adams?
It didn't click. What?
Space is big.
Oh, okay. Oh, I get
the
you.
start of that big speech of the
King of Space.
That didn't occur to me,
space
but
is big. I mean, really big. You think the walk to the corner chemist is long? That's peanuts to space. But he went just Owen Wilson. Space is big, and I was like, I feel like that was in. Speaking of,
that's someone else we need to talk about is Owen Wilson.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, first thing, Disney Plus equals Marvel characters in therapy.
Right.
It's like all of this has been therapy for these characters, and Owen Wilson was basically his therapist at that point. Why do you do this? What makes you tick? I want to know. And the only thing I felt they missed in the entire episode was when the DB Cooper reveal was. I just wanted Owen Wilson to go, "Wow, you were DB Cooper." We didn't get a wow out of him. That's other than that.
Not a wow, but we did get some pretty, over the top, like DB Cooper. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That was
that was
Owen Wilson, but
that was the one scene that I wasn't overly excited for. That one scene seemed almost arbitrary or a little tacked on to me. Of all the things. I mean, we were getting so much old footage and things, and then they do that whole new sequence, and I just. Even now, and I've watched it twice so far, I'm still not completely sure what the weight of that was on the plot or the story.
I have
other than just being fun and clever and shows us that Loki's been messing around with us, for years.
Well, that's exactly what I think they're trying to prove in the sense that from the coronation on, from Thor's coronation on, he has been obsessed with showing that he is equal, that he's worthy of Odin's love, all of that stuff. But prior to that, he was the god of mischief.
Yeah.
And that was just a way to show that his interactions with humankind back then were mischievous. Yeah. That wasn't, anything, that wasn't going to hurt anybody. That was just a mischievous thing. And he is the god of mischief, but we've never seen him do anything mischievous.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I think also though, because Mobius was making a big point about how good Loki was about getting away.
Mm-hmm.
And it also ties into the fact, to the big reveal, that they're chasing another Loki. So
yeah.
Kyle says hello, Jim. And
hi, Kyle.
but it does tie in a little bit to that. Plus, I think we're going to get a bigger payoff like a couple episodes down the line, because they've done a good job with that, where you kind of go like, well, what's that doing there? And then you get down the line and you go,
maybe at some point they're going to need like $200,000 for something. He goes, I've got some.
Yeah. You know? It's sitting in the vault of Asgard.
Yes, right next to that fake Thanos hand.
Yeah, or Infinity Gauntlet, as they sometimes call it.
What did you guys think of the whole Miss Minute cartoon?
Jim, I'm going to let you go because there's one part that I just absolutely loved, but I don't want to.
Nope, Paul, you go ahead. Jim will be back.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
No worries. What did you think about Ms. Minute?
I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was a great way to quickly introduce a lot of concepts in kind of a light, fun way without kind of bogging down the story with exposition.
Yeah.
You know, we were going to get enough of Mobius and Loki sitting there talking. This was a little Jurassic Park, but otherwise just fun, you know?
Yeah.
And you got Tara Strong doing the voice, so how could you miss?
So
I was blown away by who the judge turned out to be, the character.
Yeah, Ravonna?
Yeah, because
Ravonna Renslayer.
Yeah, that's Kang's lover from the far future.
Yeah.
So how that all ties in is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, especially since Kang is supposed to show up in Quantum Mania.
Quantum Mania, right?
Yeah. So, but I get to roll this out because you guys haven't mentioned it. When they're like the beginning of time, the lightning bolt effects were the lightning bolts from the intro of the Thor cartoon from the 60s.
Oh.
I'm almost positive that those are the exact, because they used to do the they do the lightning bolts coming down
right.
Huh. The cartoon, and I'm like, I know those. Which also tells you a lot about my misspent youth. that I'm recognizing the shape of lightning bolts in a cartoon.
That's a
I
deep,
had not noticed that.
Deep
Good
nerve
catch.
dive. Sorry?
What, Dan?
I said I had not noticed that. Good catch.
Yeah. That's a deep nerve dive. Dive.
One thing I noticed in it.
Could I borrow your glasses, guys, one of you, so I can push mine up?
I'll do it for you.
You seem kind of laggy, Paul, because Jim's not here at the moment, or am I missing him?
Oh, you're missing him. I've got Jim.
Okay, I'm going to see if... Okay.
Jim and I are having conversations.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that Dan wasn't
here.
seeing me.
Yeah. Well, that was the... So welcome to the Paul Show with Jim Beard.
Okay, I got Jim back. Okay.
Are we all here? I think Loki is messing with us.
Yeah, Jim went to black on my screen for a while, and I was like, Paul, who are you talking to? Why are you... Okay, that's kind of weird.
Well, it was funny because I was like, oh, I'll let Jim go. And I thought I was throwing to Jim. And then you were like, well, what I thought. I'm like,
yeah, Jim was black to me, though.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
See, I told you it's Dan's fault. It's not my fault or your fault. It's Dan's fault.
Okay, I like that. That works for me.
One of the weird things I noticed, and this may come up in it later on, is she describes it as a long time ago there was the multiverse war. And as she's talking about it, I'm like, okay, but these people are outside of time. So what they consider a long time ago may not have happened for Loki yet. So the multiversal war that led the timekeepers to create the TVA may not have happened in the timeline yet, where Loki is or where we are.
That
might be coming up. That might be what Doctor Strange is the start of.
Well, she did drop the word madness also, and I thought that was very telling. That she says multiverse, and then just a few beats later uses the word madness.
Yeah, and the writer of this series, the head writer of this show, wrote Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
So
as well as worked on Rick and Morty.
Okay.
Is that a time travel show too?
No, that's a multiverse show.
Oh.
They specifically take time travel and they put it in a box and put it on a high shelf so nobody will play with it.
Gotcha.
So, but I guess he got picked up mainly because he wrote a spec script called The Worst Man in the World, which was a time travel movie that he wrote about a guy who was traveling through time and doing all these horrible things, and a woman time cop who is chasing him, who ends up falling in love with him. And I guess Fahey saw this script, liked it enough, and got him to do these. And also Fahey's tapping him to write the Star Wars movie that he's doing.
So you figure
that guy? Okay.
The Hunter is going to fall in love with Loki?
No, I probably not. They don't seem to like each other at all.
Classic romance.
So the Gobi Desert was the meat cute?
Yeah. Actually, hitting him in the face with this slow time stick was their meat.
Did you guys notice that the color on the tip of her staff at that point was purple when she hit him that way? But whenever they use them to disintegrate, they're orange.
Right.
Oh, like
hit me.
Like the Infinity Stones, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Although the Time Stone is green.
It's green.
Purple would have been the Power Stone.
Right.
But
just
the fact
but just it changes color. With those batons have obvious different settings.
One of the people that I was watching the show with at the end credits, they said that they thought that there was something that looked like the sling ring from Doctor Strange, but not quite. And I was wondering, and it went by so quickly, and there's so much to watch that I wasn't sure exactly what they were thinking. But again, typical Marvel Studios, everything ties together eventually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. So, what were some of the other things that caught your attention in the show? Anything that's really, Paul? You seem like you want to talk.
Something that I didn't catch, which I picked up, checking around the web for things I'd missed. When Loki bops out into the hall and the door opens and somebody comes through it.
Yeah.
It's Peggy Carter.
What?
Well, it's someone that it's a brunette in a blue dress, very similar to the one Peggy Carter wore. So, and it's given that What If is coming up.
Yeah.
And we know of at least kind of two divergent Peggies.
Yeah.
Somebody made the, I think it was Nerdist, Dan Casey, I think made a supposition that maybe, part of the pruning is Marvel trimming off the Marvel Studios or Marvel television series.
Oh,
yeah.
That's weird. That's weird. I watch I usually watch the Screen Crush Easter egg videos on YouTube, and they didn't pick up on that. They showed that there's a Skrull that's walking down the hallway, right? And they froze that and showed that. But wow, if they totally missed that at all, and usually they speculate on the tiniest little things in those videos. Definitely going to have to look back over that one again. I mean, there's 15 million posters throughout that show. There's a lot to look at.
Well, I did see the thing about Peggy Carter, and I don't
Yeah.
necessarily think it's her, but I could see why people are making that supposition because it did have a 50s look to it or a
Mhm.
40s look to her and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So if they did come back and say, "Oh no, that's Peggy Carter," then I'll be
Well,
like, "Yeah, sure," but
the
I'm
whole
not.
the whole TVA is kind of 50s style. I mean, the almost like the technology,
Yeah.
It's the
obviously Miss Minute, is a
Yeah.
whole, let's all go to the snack bar animated, cartoon thing.
Yeah, and it's got that retro future kind of feel to it.
Right.
It's a Douglas Adams thing. You watch like Dirk Gently or any of the things that he did worked on. It just has that total feel to it.
Yeah.
You know, um, you saw this. Someone pointed out the tie Loki wears seems to have a similar pattern to the Fourth Doctor's scarf. Well, it's not the same color scheme,
Yeah.
but the actual pattern,
Uh-huh.
It's like striped.
I can see it.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
so it's like an homage then,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of time travel tips of the hat, if you will.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And another thing someone pointed out, I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about the scroll and how he's wearing a tracksuit. And they're making a connection to the tracksuit mafia from the
Hawkeye.
The Hawkeye series by Matt Fraction and David Aja, and how that there's reports that the Tracksuit Mafia will be in the Hawkeye miniseries, so that maybe there's a scroll part of the track. It's like
it's a Nexus event.
Yeah, they've secretly invaded. Maybe.
Nice.
But I have a guilty admission to make since we're when they're talking to the kid in France and he points at the window.
Mephisto.
And he's like, that's the guy. And I went, ooh, Mephisto.
Well, not only that, but Nightmare. They bring up Nightmare, and I went, oh, well, there's Nightmare.
Yeah,
we're finally getting both Mephisto and Nightmare in there.
Yeah, I think they're trolling us.
Yeah. It's totally on with the trolling, definitely.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if they came out and said, "Yeah, we're messing with you guys," just like in WandaVision when they're doing the whiteboard and it's all the questions that people are asking.
Yeah.
Now, normally I would say, look, they filmed that a long time ago. Yeah, but we know that they can go in and digitally change a background image.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realize that churches had that big of stained glass windows with the devil on them. Like,
it was
that was huge.
Yeah, it was 1500s France. They did things a little different.
But it would have been different if, like, the devil had been getting tossed out of heaven or something.
Right? No,
like, hey, it's me, the devil.
I know, right? It was like it seemed like a lot of devotion for the devil in a church, but
we don't know. We don't know what denomination that church was.
Yeah.
Well, and really, was it a church? Maybe it wasn't really a church. Maybe it was some sort of, evil cathedral.
Though
I loved his stuff in the 70s where he would try and jump canyons. Evil cathedral.
There you go.
Awful. No, it's awful canoffle.
There you go.
Though the stained glass is the guy's in green and gold robes like Loki, and he does have the big horns like Loki wears.
Yeah.
So I think that is more where they were going. And both the writer and the director, Kate Herron and Michael Waldron, have come out and said, no, that we weren't going for Mephisto. That wasn't what we were doing.
Wow, that's sad that they have to actually come out and make a statement about Mephisto.
Please leave us alone.
Oh my God. I can't wait to see how Mephisto shows up in Hawkeye and Ms. Marvel.
Mephisto will be She-Hulk's first client.
Yeah, right.
You're being
Like
sued
that
for not
guy.
appearing in WandaVision.
Like John Lovitz is the devil in the People's Court.
Yeah.
Well, if Daredevil shows up in the Spider-Man movie, everybody's going to say it's Mephisto. That's a stand-in for Mephisto.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a devil.
That's right. And he wears red. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why Daredevil would just randomly show up in places. That would just be weird.
See?
No.
The devil made you do it.
Yeah. I think one of my new favorite characters in the MCU has to be, though, Casey, the guy at the desk, and rolling the cart.
Yeah.
He reports her to whatever the TVA equivalent of HR is, you know, and she almost hit me, and I'm not forgiving you.
Yeah. Now I think I seem to remember that guy from the being one of Jason's friends from The Good Place.
Yeah, he was Pillboy.
Pillboy, right? I know. Like, first thing I was like, wait, I know this guy. But he's
Cordero.
Yeah, very good.
So Marvel's pilfering everybody from that show, right?
Yep. Expect Mephisto to actually be played by Ted Danson.
It's perfect, right?
He's got the face shape.
I know.
But he may be too busy with Mr. Mayor.
I will be mad if it's anybody else when he finally does appear.
I think he made a deal with with Mephisto to keep Mr. Mayor on the air because that show is horrible.
Is it really worse than Two Broke Girls?
No.
Okay, see that?
Because I can watch Mr.
That's
Mayor.
the worst show ever.
I was like, yay, I'm going to watch Two Broke Girls. Then I got halfway through the first episode when I am not going to watch Two Broke Girls.
No.
Yeah,
but I found Holly Hunter to be a revelation in Mr. Mayor. Plus, she's very wee. I never really realized how tiny.
Oh, Holly
Hunter against Ted Danson, who's 9.
And as she gets older, she's getting smaller too.
I thought I was just farther away.
No, she's what, 3'8" maybe? Something like that.
I think a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she's got heels on, then she's like 3'11", maybe.
I think she was running the temporal aura machine in the Loki.
Yeah.
I
loved how he was like, "Wait, what if I don't know I'm a robot?"
Yeah, can we say Blade Runner references right there?
Yeah.
Well, that's the first thing I thought of. Yeah, that guy should have said, hey, "You've never seen Blade Runner?"
Yeah. But
people don't know they're a robot.
Because again, it gave an indication of how kind of unmoored Loki was, because he's Loki. He's completely, got complete confidence in himself. But then he just sort of like stops. It's like, well, what if I don't know if I'm a robot?
And typical Marvel Studios, almost straight out comedy, and by the end of the episode, it's one of the most serious things, that we've seen, in his little journey throughout the whole thing. But it starts out and you think, oh, this is just going to be slapstick comedy from here on out.
Yeah.
Well, that's the second Blade Runner homage since Disney Plus started, because they also have the on the movie marquee in WandaVision, there is the reference to one
right.
The character says about the gate, something's how beautiful some place is. I don't remember.
Right. I can't. I know what you mean.
Orion.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's the name. It's the name of the movie. Is what? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, those are two completely different shows, different producers, different everything, but they're still doing Blade Runner references. Does that mean something?
I think it's
Ridley Scott is the devil. That's what it means.
Harrison Ford is Mephisto.
Well,
but or maybe he's Damian Hellstrom, son of Satan.
Oh,
Nope, they have that on TV and they're pruning that.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right.
I was going to say that Marvel Studios needs to get Damien back somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like
Well,
Marvel.
it was Marvel. It was on Hulu. It's part of the Marvel Studios. Yeah. That wasn't even somebody else doing it. That's like I wanted to like Cloak and Dagger, and it was okayish.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that the actors were fantastic, but it just felt like weird to me. And and also I'm tired of in the same way that I don't like number ones for new superheroes where they put on the costume on the last page.
Oh.
With Cloak and Dagger, the end of the first season, they're like, maybe we should do something.
What?
You know, maybe we should continue being.
Was there MCU references in that show? I didn't watch it, so
there were references to Runaways, and there was references to the Netflix series. One of the female cop in Cloak and Dagger references Misty Knight from the Luke Cage series.
And I think they also mentioned I forget what they called the New York invasion, but I think
the
incident, yeah.
I think they mentioned that too.
Wow.
So I mean, they were trying to tie everything together.
Yeah.
Of course, they had long since hit that point where, you know, it started off as it's all connected, and then towards the end, Marvel Studios was like, not so much.
Yeah. We started to get the big green guy and the guy with the shield and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of pictured it as Jeff Loeb standing at the podium going, "It's all connected," and Kevin Feige in the back going, "No, it's not."
Nope.
Yeah, just like.
Yeah. Let's not forget that Thanos is actually name dropped in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, yeah, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. technically had a segment from Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
I know.
And
they could not deny any of that. That it all really happened. You know.
Yeah,
they cleaned up Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
They had a whole episode where they went to clean up Thor: The Dark World.
Right. Yeah. Yep. They can't deny it. It's there.
They could absolutely deny it
over and over
again. Pruning.
Yeah.
Whatever they're going to do, I hope they do it and we can kind of, get it done with, because there's all these reports that, Kevin Feige liked these actors for these roles, so he might bring them back, but these other ones he didn't. And it's like, hey, just do it.
Hey, I want to ask you guys now. I just remembering this. Was there or was there not something about Namor that has been said recently, and maybe by Feige?
Feige wants to use Namor.
Yes, right.
But what's been out lately is there's an actor from the Narcos series on Netflix, Narcos Mexico, named Tenoch Huerta, who supposedly has been cast as a bad guy in Black Panther 2 or Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Right.
And they're assuming he's going to play Namor. And Namor will be the bad guy. It'll be Wakanda versus Atlantis. There's also reports of a casting announcement for 2 characters of Mayan descent to play made-up names. But people are assuming it's Namorita and Atuma.
It is not Atuma.
Yes, it's not Atuma. But again, these are the main source of these rumors is a site called the Illuminati or the Illuminerd.
Okay.
Who have a track record of being right. They're usually about 70% right, from what I understand.
Okay.
Which in the gossip things, that's a pretty good track record.
Yeah.
But
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I get the connection in the comics between Wakanda and Atlantis, but they have Namor introduced. You know, I mean, in a perfect world, Namor gets introduced in the Fantastic Four movie.
True, but we are looking at the fact that they're going to have to explain the passing of Chadwick Boseman.
Sure.
And
Sure.
you're gonna need something other than a one-on-one villain to bring in all the characters.
Yeah.
So from the story point of view, it makes a lot of sense. They have been teasing a bit of Atlantis in Iron Man 2. Up on Nick Fury's map, there's an incident marker in the middle of the ocean between South America and Africa where Atlantis is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then in Avengers Endgame, there is the scene where everybody is up in holograms and Natasha's kind of doing a check with everybody. And there's talk of an undersea earthquake. And Okoye is like, yeah, we don't deal with it. It's an undersea earthquake.
Right.
So that's the hints that we've been getting. So, and it makes a lot of sense that they would be Mayan tied, that they would be hiring Latinx actors.
Are you suggesting that maybe the Black Panther 2 opens with the war already going on and T'Challa's already been killed? Maybe
possible, or they're not going to recast T'Challa,
right?
But it doesn't mean they can't have a stuntman in the Black Panther suit.
Sure.
Where we open with his death.
Yeah.
And it causes a war between the two.
Yeah.
And then you've got the whole political intrigue. Who's going to take over?
It's going to be rough. I mean, it's to me, it's Carrie Fisher level rough. It's a tough call. And I think, it's debatable how successful they were with Carrie Fisher and that whole thing. God, it's just going to be really rough. I mean, I'm pulling for Shuri to become the Black Panther. It makes sense. The actress, is old enough to carry it and popular enough of a character. So
I would be okay with her becoming the Black Panther by the third one. I think she's still a little on the young side and untrained in that aspect. That I would almost want to see them have it dealt with two characters where she becomes the Black Panther, but M'Baku is kind of with her and they're a team.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I mean, the second one could be the journey.
Yes.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, Marvel's films happen in real time. So by the time it comes around, I'm not sure how old Shuri was supposed to be in, let's say, Endgame.
She was only like 18, 19, I believe, or maybe even younger.
The actress is, Letitia is a lot older than I thought. She's in her almost later 20s now. She's not a teenager. She's like mid 20s or something like. By the time, it rolls around, Shuri's going to be in her mid 20s, basically. But it should be interesting. I mean, if anybody can pull it off, it's them. I have full faith in them.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about Marvel progressing in real time, except that they did do a jump forward.
That's true. That's true.
We're now in the last one was set in 2023.
Right.
Yeah. And I think we're not going to jump until we catch up.
Yeah.
Right.
Was Shuri blipped? Or don't we know?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because the only representative we get in Endgame is Okoye.
Right.
And again, if she had been trained by the Dora Milaje, then I'd be like, absolutely, Shuri's the new Black Panther.
Yeah.
But she's a scientist, so I feel like there needs to be that middle step. There needs to be, and plus I really like Winston Duke's character, M'Baku, and would he just accept her being the new king without a challenge.
Well, there's the story. Right? There's the story, right? But if it's in the family, I mean, she's a princess, you know.
But it's not in the family. That's what they established in Black Panther.
Yeah, any of the tribes can put someone up.
Oh, well, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, so anybody can take over.
Right.
Well, again, that could be the story that she wants it, she gets it, you know, whatever. And then M'Baku challenges her. You know, Okoye could be easily the new Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Although I don't know if it's like I haven't figured out if it's the royal families of each tribe that are the only ones allowed to challenge.
Right.
Or the leader of each tribe, at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible. And I could see it where M'Baku doesn't challenge her because of that bond that he ended up with T'Challa.
Yeah.
You know, after they fought and he spared M'Baku, you know, and they kind of got this mutual respect. I could see him doing something to help her.
Yeah.
But I don't think he could just accept her, you know, or go, yep, you're the queen. I gotta go, you know.
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
But Loki.
I'm sorry. It's
no,
just
that's fine.
These pathways and these, you know, cul-de-sacs and everything in the Marvel universe is just utterly fascinating to me.
See, and that is why the TVA is trying to prune it all.
Yeah. Damn TVA, they need to mind their own business.
Yeah. So what did you guys think of Owen Wilson now as part of the MCU? You know, I mean, because I'm not necessarily a big Owen Wilson fan. I liked him in Shanghai Noon, and I don't really know if I've watched him in many things else.
I thought he was wonderful in this, and that anybody can hold their own with Hiddleston. I mean, literally, you know, right there.
Yeah.
You know, is okay with me. That's amazing to have two really great, you know, people right at the top of this show. That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And I was really impressed because we know how good Hiddleston is.
Yeah,
we know what a good actor he is. Besides Loki, the Night Manager or whatever the series is he did. Yeah, I mean he's done so many good shows, all the way back to Wallander with Kenneth Branagh. You know, I've been watching this guy and he's fantastic.
What about the War Horse?
What?
The War Horse.
Yes.
Wasn't he in War Horse? Yeah.
Yes, with Benedict Cumberbatch. But to see, I never really thought of Owen Wilson on that level. And I know they had done a movie together too in the past.
I didn't know that.
Is that right?
But you tend to think of Owen Wilson as as purely a comedic actor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think of him as the guy from Zoolander, Hansel.
Yeah, or Wedding Crashers.
Okay. I pray he doesn't watch the show. But Dan, did Hansel remind you of Josh Dysart at all?
No, definitely not.
Listen to your friend Billy Zane.
Look at these comedic actors who are stepping up now and wowing us. And I'm going to go right to, and I hate it. His name flew out of my head in Mandalorian.
Bill Burr.
Yeah. Like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, comedic actor for the most part, thought of like that, and then just lays it all out right there. Before I forget, the key is going to be going forward in Loki is now our new Loki has to come up to the level of Hiddleston and Owens.
They cast. There was a casting rumor, or actually, I think it was confirmed that Richard E. Grant was going to be in, and I can totally see him as kind of the Loki we know from the Roy Thomas John
Yeah.
Buscema era of Thor.
So you think there's going to be how many Lokis do you think is going to be in this thing altogether?
A lot.
But we know who the other one is, right?
Well, we know there's President Loki.
Okay.
From the trailers, and there's rumor of a female Loki.
Yeah,
and there's
Loki.
rumor of an old Loki and a rumor of a kid Loki.
Okay.
I think that the old Loki will be Richard E. Grant.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But there was a what was it? A press event of some sort with and I can't think of her name, the actress standing right there with
Sophia DiMartino.
Yeah. So and I saw her. I mean, obviously it's the internet, but I saw her literally, said this is Loki. She's Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's reports that she's Lady Loki, and there's reports that Richard E. Grant will play older Loki, but the castings haven't been confirmed.
Yeah.
It's confirmed that they are in the show.
Yeah, but my thought is why put her right up there in the photo op with Tom, I mean, literally like right there. And she certainly got the look for it. So I mean, anything can happen. I hope it is. I hope it is. And like I said, she's got a lot of weight to carry now because she's got to come up to everybody else's, level in this. And if Richard E. Grant is also Loki, this may become my new favorite, MCU show, which will be incredible if that happens.
Yeah, I don't know that many people that were super excited for Loki.
I was one of those people. I was like, yeah, I'll watch it. Of course. I mean, I'm going to watch Ms. Marvel, but I don't really care about the character at all. Yeah. It'll probably wow me just like everything else has.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I had to pick the one I'm most looking forward to, it's freaking Moon Knight. And we're not even close to that yet.
Yeah.
I already had mine. Mine was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was, and WandaVision was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm going to watch it. And then, and I think I probably like WandaVision still a little bit better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is saying a lot.
Yeah. I think it comes down to what your thing for the MCU is. Yeah. If you're the big action adventure kind of guy, then Falcon and Winter Soldier is your cup of tea. I mean, their pilot, that opening scene was amazing.
Yeah.
The whole flying through the helicopters and
really was
fighting Batroc. That was great. But if you want a little more weirder stuff, then you go with WandaVision. But what Loki's doing, it's like there was next to no action. I mean, he got hit in the face once.
No, it was talky talk.
Yeah.
Talky talk. Yeah. Talky. I don't like talking. Well, that's a lie.
Yeah, you like to lie, and you just did.
Good question, Brian.
Oh, let me pull that up.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll get to see the Nightmare Department? I hope so.
Yeah, they can't tease us. They can't just tease us about that.
Even if it's only a glimpse, a precursor to something we'll see in. Yeah. I keep trying to say Mountains of Madness. Multiverse.
Careful.
Well, I want giant space penguins living in
if they go with the villain they're talking about, it's kind of Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
Was it it's either Cthon or Shumagorath, yes. I'm thinking of Shub-Niggurath, which is another Lovecraftian.
Right.
Yeah. Shumagorath.
Well, they have to show the Nightmare Department because Mephisto runs it.
Yeah.
Or does Nightmare run it?
Or not? They're probably battling over it, actually.
Yeah, there you go. I think I would love to see the Nightmare Department. Yeah. I think that would be great.
Yeah. Well, who's the famous author who said, like, if you show a gun up on the wall in a scene, you have to use it somewhere. You can't mention a Nightmare Department and then not use it. You have to use it at some point down the road.
Yep, Chekhov's gun.
That's it.
It's named after the character from Star Trek.
Absolutely.
I was thinking it was Tolstoy, but yeah, right. You're right.
Yes, and it's anybody out there that's going to correct me. Yes, I know it's Anton Chekhov, not Pavel.
You're kidding me.
I know. Sorry to break your heart like that, Jim.
They're the same anyway.
I'm lucky I knew that little dumb thing. I didn't know who it was, but I'm lucky I knew that thing at all.
Yeah. But they famously call it Chekhov's gun, because if there's a
If you're
gun on the
going to show a
mantelpiece
weapon,
in Act 1, somebody better fire it before.
And you know what? And you know what? They know that they have to deliver these things after the whole, Mephisto debacle of WandaVision, that they cannot tease us with anything. They have to give us everything that they mention.
Unless we just see a guy unless we just see Mephisto being arrested in the background by the TVA.
No,
Jim,
Casey puts in for a transfer.
Yes.
To the nightmare
I'm reminded
department.
of the phrase from Game of Thrones. Oh, you sweet summer child. They can tease us with anything, and
they can. They absolutely can.
Well, you didn't follow through on it, but it was still really good.
Yeah,
I agree with you, and yet I won't put it past them.
I'm still stung by Monica Rambeau's friend, that she mentions, and
the engineer friend. Yeah,
that was supposed to be Reed Richards. We were promised Reed Richards, and we did not get Reed Richards, and I'm still pissed about that.
Oh God,
that was a bait and switch. That was a textbook bait and switch.
Although Dan explained that one, it wasn't actually a bait and switch. It was a COVID related. They trimmed an episode.
Yeah,
so that's why it was 9 instead of 10.
Oh,
WandaVision, both WandaVision and Falcon the Winter Soldier had story changes and things trimmed because of COVID.
So there's there's lost episodes floating around out there, right?
At least scripts for them, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, like the whole side plot in Falcon and Winter Soldier, that there was a pandemic side plot.
Yeah.
That
was okay to trim that one. We didn't need that much reality.
Yeah, but the Mama Danya character,
when they wrote it.
The Mama Danya character is an actress who is a well-known actress, and all she did was, her time on screen was the same as my time on Dexter. We were just dead bodies, and she got paid much more than I did.
Yeah, I bet.
Wait, who was that?
Mama Danya.
Oh,
yeah.
So she was supposed to have been a bigger character, and it was the whole pandemic subplot, and they had to change it and reshoot a bunch of stuff.
Right, and there was and with WandaVision, there was more Darcy stuff that got trimmed because.
Yeah.
How many episodes is Loki?
6.
6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the standard. WandaVision was different because they wanted to do the half-hour format to go with the half-hour sitcom format. But all the series are going to be 6, I believe.
Falcon and Winter Soldier was 10, wasn't it?
No, 6.
6.
What? Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They cranked a lot in there.
Yep.
Yes.
They really did. Because I was like, well, that was a longer show than WandaVision.
Nope, just 6.
Nope, just 6.
Well, in my time stream, someone's at the door.
It's Mephisto.
Is it a time door?
It's TVA.
Yeah.
TVA Avon calling.
Yeah. I think one of the lines that got me, just one of the great establishing lines of how different the TVA is, was what seemed to be like a throwaway line of, "I'll gut you like a fish." What's a fish? How do you not know what a fish is?
I think I should know what I'm being threatened with.
Yes.
I lived my whole life at this desk because they do say the timekeepers created the TVA.
Yeah,
yes.
And the employees, which is, and including Mobius, which, is really, weird.
Why would they be created with such a broken nose?
Well, it's been a while. Something might have happened in the interim.
But yeah, those are the things that the most make me think of Douglas Adams.
Yeah.
The whole thing about, hey, so long and thanks for all the fish. Just bring up a fish, makes me think of Douglas Adams. But, how do you not know
fish, which disproves God?
Yes.
Because nothing.
I'll be waiting for my favorite Douglas Adams thing, which is how to fly. That you throw yourself at the ground, but you miss.
Yeah, it's the key.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And you can't tell me that robot in the beginning didn't seem like a variation of either Marvin or Eddie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a really
Yeah.
good point. That's a really good one. Yeah, I love that. That's great.
And then for older gentlemen like us, the fine Asgardian leather. Anybody else think back to Ricardo Montalban?
Corinthian leather.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen those old commercials on Nick at Night.
Yes.
It's all true. It's all true.
So where are we going with this show?
I don't know. I mean, this may be the craziest thing we've ever seen after WandaVision. I don't know. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. I fully expect, because Mobius was analyzing this Loki to get insights about other Loki, the renegade Loki. And I think we're going to end up with Loki tricking old Loki. That I think that's where we're headed, that our Loki, or 2012 Loki, will be the solution purely because he relies on being a trickster rather than, it sounds like older Loki went down the power path farther. Yeah. So I think that we're going to see an element of, so I think we're going to get to see a little Madcap Hiddleston.
Something just occurred to me, that there's a Marvel comic book precedent for having a group of people that are all alternate versions of the same things. You have the what is it called? The League of Reeds. Yes. And there was and Kang had the same thing. It was like the League of Cross-Time Kangs or whatever the heck it was. So I could see this Loki starting to put together a team of, the League of Lokis, and to do whatever the heck there is they're going to do. But if he starts, I hope he falls in love with his female self or version or whatever. I mean, I got to have that.
Yeah.
Well,
even coming from Rick and Morty, there's a Council of Ricks.
Yeah, Council. That's right. There you go. It's the Council of Reeds. So yeah, we need the Council of Lokis.
Or on the Flash TV show, they have the Council of Welleses.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay. C.B. Richardson says, my favorite part of the show is the retro futurism aesthetic. I felt like it stepped into a classic sci-fi cover watching this episode. I absolutely agree.
I love that. Yep.
Again, that's another thing to me screams Douglas Adams. But that classic look, or Doctor Who. That felt like something Doctor Who would have done.
I was very impressed, by the way, that they managed, for the computers, they managed to get that retro future look and like mash it with the old Apple III or whatever, the one that had the clear plastic of various colors. Yeah, they didn't go purely that route. Power Mac, I think that was. Yes, but they kind of crammed the aesthetic with that element of, oh look, it's colorful as opposed to just a flat. A lot of computers were just gray.
Well, the actual device in the Time Theater is an old 8-track player.
Yeah,
that they just put a reel-to-reel on, but it's an actual 8-track player. Brian asks, who wants the multiverse in chaos and why?
Mephisto.
I think that's the mystery. Yeah.
Mephisto. Yeah, but that's our answer.
Mephisto. Yeah. Old Loki or Lady Loki or one of the variant Lokis.
Maybe it's all the Lokis want the multiverse in chaos.
That's what I said. Yep.
Chaos comes opportunity.
Yep.
I think it would make sense if it was old Loki, because as we watch the history of Loki in the theater of time, a time theater, you see that he loses everything. He loses Frigga. Then he loses Odin. And even though he gets that moment with Odin, he still loses his adoptive father. He's already killed his biological father, Laufey. Then maybe he loses Thor because of the God Butcher or whatever. As it goes along, maybe he just gets to the point where he thinks that chaos and insanity is the better solution.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And another interesting.
Yeah, CB says, I think it's Kang. He's definitely one of the Time Masters. I know a lot of people are looking at the middle Time Master of the three, and saying that looks like Kang. I get that that's a female character when I look at the art, but I could see facially similar. I know a couple artists looked at that and went, yeah, if I was trying to draw Jonathan Majors, who is going to play Kang and Ant-Man,
yeah,
that's how he would end up looking. So,
but would you really see the character being introed here before Quantum Mania?
Thanos was introduced in the end credits of Avengers.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's fascinating to me that this is, we've got WandaVision leading into Multiverse of Madness, and now this looks like it's leading into it, and this could actually really lead into it. I mean, literally, it could be that whatever they're trying to do in the movie is all because of what happens right here. If Loki throws everything into madness, and then Doctor Strange has to try to take care of it.
Well, what if, like I said, what if when Miss Minutes talks about the multiverse war, if that is where we're going towards, isn't in the past, it's actually our future.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to get. So introducing Kang makes sense if he's a major component. And as Brian suggests, that someone has to be helping the rogue variant, maybe that's Kang.
Yeah.
Maybe he's pulling the strings behind it. And
so we've got Wanda now as the Scarlet Witch, and we've got Loki, and as Peter Venkman said in Ghostbusters, we've got to get these two together. Can you imagine those two characters?
Oh man,
facing off. I mean, that would be Mephisto level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, see, that's what happened. They get mashed together and they become Mephisto.
Yeah. Well,
it's all about Mephisto.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Maybe variant Loki ends up possessing the White Vision's body.
Yeah. Loki's got the horns and she's got the color red. So
there you go.
Well, and what'll happen when Loki possesses the White Vision body? He'll become Kid Vision.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and he'll return to green and gold because those are Loki's colors.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
It all's connected.
CB says, I mean, if WandaVision sets up Doctor Strange 2 and Falcon and the Winter Soldier sets up Captain America 4, then maybe Loki sets up Ant-Man and the Wasp 2.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
It does. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's a lot of what they're using these series for. But I have a feeling that the multiverse stuff is going to be much bigger than just Doctor Strange. I don't necessarily think that it's going to wrap up by the end of Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
This might be, the multiverse war might be what we're looking at as phase 4, 5, and 6, or whatever they end up doing. And it could be the way they end up bringing in these other variant groups like the X-Men and Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm not saying they're going to bring them in, whole cloth from the Fox movies. They're probably going to be all new actors and stuff, but it could be the way they explain it. And that's how they expand the universe and set up the Sonyverse so that Spider-Man can hop over and play with Venom and Morbius and Kraven the Hunter.
We're living in golden times.
Oh yeah,
that's really amazing.
I am currently listening to the audiobook of Danny Fingeroth's Stan Lee biography.
Yeah,
And I'm just listening to the part where they're doing all. He's like, this is the universe they were building. This is what Stan kind of tapped into, and kind of becoming friends with everybody and the whole collective universe. And it's fascinating to me because I see it happening in the films the way it did in the 60s with Marvel.
Right.
And even though they can't do it the exact same way, they are connecting all the dots.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I thought was interesting, of course, the Marvel Universe was essentially made by cameos. It was, Spider-Man, something happened, and Thor flies past.
Right. Yeah.
On his way to something
right.
else.
Mm-hmm.
And then it snowballed from there. But it was very much like, as I remember it, they used to do stuff like the reprints I've seen where it's like, Thor is headed to this place, which you can read about in his comic.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a certain amount of that. I never thought they could do this. I wanted it so much, but I never thought they could pull off the universe.
And you know what? And I feel bad to have to bring this up, but DC is trying to shorthand all of this. They're trying to skip over, like earning it after 10 years of movies.
Yeah.
And just jump right to some of this stuff without, like I said, earning all of this, where Marvel
I think it's twofold. I think it's that they're trying to shorthand it. And I also think that they're not allowing, they don't have that singular voice that's driving it. They don't have a Kevin Feige.
Yep.
And so far, the fact that he did it under Marvel Studios first before it ever became Disney gave him enough autonomy to make it happen and start putting the pieces together. And then when Bob Iger got Marvel, he was smart enough to go, it ain't broke, let him go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's
and I don't think we give enough credit to Jon Favreau too. I'll
agree with that.
Yeah.
What he did with Iron Man was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean,
and to show it's not a fluke, he did it again with Mandalorian.
Right. He's he knows what he's doing. It's Gutter has come a long way, which is a PCU reference.
Yeah. The Multiverse War sounds like a Redskin Secret War.
Reskinned.
I know it's not one for one, but it could be a great way to set up Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Yeah, that's what I was mentioning too. I agree that I think a Multiverse War would be perfect for bringing in these variant universes that they finally got back, and to fix some of the things too. I mean, because the Marvel Universe hasn't been perfect. There's been little hiccups here and there, and then the TV universes and stuff like that. And this kind of gives Kevin Feige a chance to do a blank slate, and he can go through and go, okay, from Netflix, we'll keep Charlie Cox, Kristen Ritter, and Vincent D'Onofrio and John Bernthal. Get rid of the rest. Okay, over here with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mike Coulter was so good.
Yeah. He meant to say that.
I agree Coulter was good, but the reports are that those are the four actors that Kevin Feige has specifically said he liked.
Mm-hmm. Well, and not everybody's going to be available anyway.
Right. Coulter's doing well with the Evil series that just moved from CBS to Paramount Plus.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds. And the weird part is we're looking at it and it's like, this stuff is way far out from here. I mean, all this stuff's announced and we're speculating, oh, well, this will lead to this and this. But we've got years before we find this stuff out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I saw something that they have 40 current projects in the works.
And I'm not working on any of them.
Yeah.
That's
a shame. We all should be doing something in the MCU.
Yeah.
Okay.
Services.
What's the next series? Is it Hawkeye?
What If is next?
Pardon me. Live action.
Yeah.
It's Hawkeye.
They haven't announced it yet. It should be Should be Hawkeye.
Yeah, that's it. I'm wondering when we might see like a trailer or something. from
Hawkeye and
that.
Miss Marvel are both supposed to be before the end of this year.
Okay, but I'm wondering like will at San Diego maybe they'll drop something
Well, San Diego is until Thanksgiving this year.
Yeah.
Okay, well
So,
they
yeah.
could do it.
I'm curious as to what we'll see in Black Widow.
Yeah.
Like, we'll see something that
Oh.
connects.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good point. You
Like,
mean the Marvel movie that everybody is sort of forgets about?
I'm not
been
Black
mentioned
Widow.
so many times.
Poor
I am-
Black Widow.
I am really looking forward to Black Widow because I love David Harbour as
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian. I think that's just great casting.
So far, that looks like it's
Still
probably going to be
fits.
my favorite part too.
So, well, anything Rachel Weisz is in, she is my favorite part. Ever
All right,
since
guys,
The Mummy.
Yeah.
But
We're going to have to wrap it up here. We are doing our best to keep it at 1:30. That's something you haven't seen us do yet, Jim. But
Oh,
yeah.
good for you! Wow.
Yeah. Well, this show gets rebroadcast on the Comic Shopping Experience on Saturdays,
Oh,
and
okay.
they asked us to try to stick to 90 minutes. That's Kyle asks that. So we're going to wrap
Maybe
this
they
up
can
here.
trim some of the stuff at the beginning where we're like, "Are you there? Are you there?"
Possibly, yes. But so I would like to thank you guys. Paul, thank you as always for being with us.
Always
Jim,
my pleasure.
thank you for keeping our tradition alive.
So,
And I just lost him again.
I'm back.
he's back. He's back.
Okay, there you are.
Good thing it's the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for keeping the tradition alive.
No
And
problem.
we'll
Thank
see
you for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you at the start of What If.
Okay. All right. I love it.
Yeah, and let's you and I talk about having you come on the Dan Wickline show during the week.
Sounds really good to me. I'll be very happy to.
Yeah. Brian says thank you guys. So thank you, Brian. Thank you,
Thanks, everybody
CB.
that showed up.
Thank you, Kyle, for joining us. And everybody, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We'd appreciate it. And we will see you all next week for more Loki talk on Pop Go the Writers.
Or
Good night.